Welcome back, listeners. And this episode, we're going to talk about feeling like you're not enough. So, welcome. If you are new, please like, subscribe. If you are a always listener or have been listening for a while, welcome back. Um, I want to talk about yesterday, my day, and just how things can start to spiral and kind of feel out of control, and it feels like we're not enough. And so I have been having a really good couple of weeks. My husband and I are in a really good place. If you don't know kind of the backstory on that, you can go listen to the first episodes of season one. And I think I touched on it again on the first episode on season two. So we've been in a really good place. Like we've had really good communication. We've been making time for date nights, which also have included like running errands. And so I wouldn't say date nights, I would say a date meal around running errands. Um, and we've kind of front loaded our June, where in the summer where we did almost all of our vacations, all of our travel in June, and we were feeling really good. We budgeted for it. We were like, wow, like we have all that paid off. Like we didn't have to like, you put a lot on credit cards and felt really good where we were at in our businesses. So things were going really well until they weren't. So that's what I wanted to talk about today is when we just feel like things kind of start to pile up and they don't feel like things are going very well. When I can look at that and I can see the reality is I had a really amazing month, almost 2 months of marriage, business going well, my husband's business doing well, the kids traveling. We got to see a lot of family the past month. On the flip side of that, when things started to feel really heavy yesterday, um, very overwhelming, I was tired. We've been staying up the past couple of nights, like till about 11, almost 11:30, which to me is not good. I know that can cause me to like spiral. It's kind of like a chaos thing that happens for me. So yesterday it just kind of all started hitting me. I felt like we came back from our trips. There was really big storms here in North Dakota, and um, four people died during that time, and it was kind of scary afterwards. Like we didn't realize how bad it was till almost after the fact, and we were very, very lucky. We had some trees down, and our power went out for maybe 24 hours. I think some other people were out of power for almost 4 days, and so again, very blessed, very lucky. Like counting our blessings. And then it was almost like we made it through the month of June. We're getting towards the end of June now. And it's almost like, oh, can take a breath. And what I've noticed is a lot of times in that kind of like, oh, we did it. We made it through, whether it's a vacation, whether it's having people over to your house, whether it's a funeral, like, you're like, oh, and then during that pause, that's when then things can start to spiral in my mind, at least. So I'm like, I bet that happens to other people. I'm going to talk about that on my podcast. So the first thing that kind of sent me in a spiral was that about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I found out that my husband had two credit cards for his business that I did not know about. And so again, in our marriage, that is a something that we have just we're on the same page. Like anytime I need to have access to that due to the past behaviors, um, the past like he'll charge and charge and charge. It gets out of control. So a boundary that we have set is that I get access to those accounts. So I found out about those. I've been asking for access to them. He has not shown them to me. And so the night before, when I went to bed late, and then in the middle of the night, one of our daughters got up. She had a nightmare. And they call them night dreams, which is super cute. She had a bad night dream. And then I realized my husband was awake. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I had really bad heartburn. And so in my mind, past behaviors of him has been when he's up late at night and he cannot sleep, he spends money. and he spends money quickly and he spends it on things that all of a sudden when he pauses, he's like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. So then he tries to backtrack. So to me, I was already kind of triggered about him being up at night. I saw he was on his phone. When I asked him the next day, like, hey, when did you go to bed? He's like, it was about 4 in the morning. And then he also said that, oh, I started to panic about like, how can I keep this shop going for 15 to 20 years? And when he panics, again, usually what his behavior is he'll spend money and try to overcompensate on things. So I know all these things, right? I know this information. I can look at that and those are the facts. And instead of just saying, hey, I would like to talk about this later today, I hey, can you show me those accounts? Even if you don't remember the passwords and I don't have complete access to them, can you show them to me? Instead of doing that, I started worrying about it, panicking about it, feeling like, oh my gosh, like, or thinking, believing like he for sure did something. I need to go check the accounts. I need to like get on top of this. And so this was kind of going on underneath, right? And I knew I was going to have a conversation later in the day with him, but I didn't say anything to him. And then, okay, so let me fast forward in the day. It was a pretty good day. We were busy, of course. I had a coaching call. We got adoration in as a whole family, and so we had an hour at adoration, and that was just lovely. But I was exhausted, and the adoration time again was just lovely. But at the end of it, when I got out of it, I was like, I am so tired. Because like when you pause and sit, it's like it all just catches up with you. So I left there so tired, just physically, mentally, like emotionally. I was just drained. And instead of going home and being like, hey, I want a little nap, like I'm just gonna close my eyes for 20 minutes. Like, because my husband had napped before that. I instead like kept pushing through and I was like, okay, we have this pile of trees that we need to burn from the storm and we haven't been able to get that to work. Like, let's do that. And it wasn't working. Also I had to wake up early because the plumber was there in the morning. And then almost as soon as he left, he came twice actually because he didn't have the parts for the second thing. Came back, and almost as soon as he left, we realized, oh, the basement toilet is not working. So I felt like a failure that way. Couldn't get this burn pile going. Felt like a failure that way because all the trees were good, so they were too new, they were too wet. Like it wasn't dry wood that were burning. And so couldn't get the fire going. There was a couple other things. Oh, I burnt my cheek with my crimper curling iron. Um, just a couple things that like normally would not be a big deal, but to me, I just started feeling like I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I've been asking my husband, I'm like, I need to get away and like have actual time for you and me, not just a meal and then running. Excuse me. Oh, so sorry. Sneezing. Allergy season also. Um, right, not just a meal and quick rushing in between running errands and getting back home, but I'm like, I really would like to have a night away or a time where like somebody can come and be with the kids. So we don't have to rush home. And I was planning on like I was hoping to do that this upcoming Sunday into Monday. And then I realized like, oh, I double booked something like I said we could go have supper with my family and some relatives out of town. I was thinking it was going to be a lunch thing. And then once I like clarified further, it was a supper thing. And so I was just like, oh, like I was so looking forward to this time away. And now like we're gonna go do this. And my husband's like, just if you want to go have supper with your family, we can do that. If you don't, then let's just say we can't, like something came up, we can't make it, and let's go take time for you. He's like, I feel like you're on the verge of a breakdown. And I'm like, I am, and I'm crying at that point, and I'm like, I've just been around the kids for a month straight, and I'm like, I'm used to now, like my kids were all in school this year, so I'm used to having my daytime being very calm. I have my routine. I only have to make meals for myself. And they've been home now. And again, we've been going on vacations, which isn't really a vacation when you travel with kids. If you know, if anybody has kids, they know that. Um, so it's just been going nonstop for a month straight without any time for me to really have peace and quiet and calm. And so it just felt like, oh, we made it through all the vacation. And then all this stuff is coming up of like things not working. Our lawnmower broke down. I can't get my tiller working. So I didn't get a garden in this year. Like, and all of these things, when I start thinking of one thing, they all start coming back to back to back to back. And so you might say, how does this relate to grief and what I'm going through with grief? And so, how it relates to grief is for one, just to recognize like our brain, once we start seeing things that are going wrong, we see all the things that are going wrong. And it feels like everything is happening at once and it's overwhelming. We have to handle everything all at once. And the thing was too, like we had a couple good days of like adulting. Okay, like we got the propane tanks filled, we got oils changed. We again, I was trying to cut down trees, so we got this chainsaw, which then okay, we the chainsaw broke, so I had to get another chain. Um, the oil change got in this morning, but again, there's two bills then for oil change we have to pay. The propane usually costs quite a bit because we have two tanks that need to be filled, right? Like, so it felt good and accomplished. But with that, my brain was focusing on, okay, but now look at all the money you have to spend. Look at if you take this time away, like if you go get a hotel room or take time away, like that's time or that's also money that you're spending. You're not with your kids, so you should feel bad. Like, well, what if your mother-in-law like doesn't pay attention to him as much, or like all the things. And so I just wanted to come on here and say, first and foremost, when we can recognize the facts of the situation. So the facts were one, I was tired. Two, I was not communicating like at the start of the day, like, hey, this is on my mind. Can we talk about this tonight? And it was hovering in the background. So I had this circumstance that nobody else knew about that was weighing on my mind, which was then adding to my tunnel vision of everything is going wrong and I'm not enough. And it even got to the point where, like, okay, talking it through with my husband, he's showing me something like on this account, like, I got upset. There was something was not what I thought it was. Like, and then my mind goes to, and I can't ever take time for myself because now I feel like my family's mad at me that I am not going to be there on Sunday for this picnic, right? Like our mind just jumps from thing to thing to thing. And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, really what we need is maybe some water, maybe some food, maybe some sleep. When's the last time you've been outside? Some fresh air, right? Like most of the time, those are the things we need. And when we're in that spiral, it's hard to get out of it. So we can recognize that. The other thing that I want to talk about and point out is that the way to kind of pause this spiral and cycle, right? Like, is when I was like kind of word vomiting all of this out at my husband, he was just like, okay, but what do you want to do? Like, what would make you feel comforted right now? How can I support you right now? And I want you guys to hear those questions because you can ask yourself that. You can see the spiral happening and you can say, what do you want right now? What do you need right now? Right? And needs might be more of like the sleep, the water, the nap, like that kind of stuff. But if you can't get that right now, okay, what do you want even? Do you want to do the picnic with your family or do you really want time away from the kids? And for me, it was like, no, I really want the time for you and me as husband and wife because I'm like, when I start to look at the next upcoming weeks, we have a daughter starting ballet classes that are twice a week. And then the other days are filled with our work schedule. And then basically by the time that's done, like they're in school again. And then we do volleyball, basketball, like, so I know I know it feels kind of rushed, but I'm like, I really, really want to take this time for you and me because I don't know when else it's going to be fit in. And so he's like, okay, I'll call my mom. we'll start there. We'll see if she can come. If not, I'll think of somebody else. If they can't come, then we'll do the picnic. And it's like, okay, that feels good. That felt good in my mind. It's like, I'll just text my brother and sister, let them know. I reached out to the company that's here and like, is there a different day we can meet up? Like, I read the calendar wrong. I double booked. And again, it is on me because I could have looked and I could have read the message more clearly. Like I tend to skim text messages and then just respond. And then later I'm like, oh, wait, what? Like, or I didn't even realize like once I start playing out the timeline in my mind, I'm like, wait a second, like that's not gonna work. Like that's not what I was thinking at all. So it is on me to slow down and to really read the messages before I respond, to really think it through. And most of the time I do pretty good on that. This time I did not. And it just so happened to coincide with a time where I was very much lacking sleep. I had to be up early. The toilet wasn't working. It was overflowing at supper time. The pile of wood wouldn't start on fire. Oh, and then we tried to use gasoline, which was not smart because then I leaned to light it and it poofed in my face. Like, so all these things, right? Like, live and learn, right? Tell you all the time, all these things with gasoline. Yeah, you don't think about it when you're just doing it, which is fine. Nobody was hurt. It was okay. But the point of this being, and I hope and pray that you guys take from this, is our minds like to spiral and focus on the negative. What we can do, though, is recognize that and then ask ourselves the questions that we're longing other people to ask us. Because in the past, my husband was not good about asking those questions. He would just be like, well, just do this or do this. And then I would be upset because I'd be like, no, like I want to talk through it. I want help with it. And so bless him. He has grown very much in the past couple years. And he knows now, like, okay, let's pause, let's figure this out. But we can do that for ourselves as well. And also, like in the past, I was not always good about pausing and asking myself those questions. That's the part that takes practice. Because I could see I was spiraling. I could see, okay, I should pause. I probably should pray right now or just be like, hey, what are the facts? What can I do? And I just chose not to. I didn't want to. I was like, no, if this and this and this person did this, I wouldn't feel this way, right? Like, and that's okay too. And it would take me a few days or a few hours at least to kind of come around and be like, okay, what are the facts? What do I want to do? What do I need? How can I figure this out? And now it takes me less time. And even if my husband isn't here to ask me the questions, right? Like, it takes me way less time. Like, no, what do you need right now? How can I care for you? How can I support you? And so just asking yourselves those simple questions. And again, it takes practice. Okay. So don't expect to be like, next time this comes up and this happens, to be like, oh, I should have done that. And now I'm failing. No, we're just learning, right? We're gathering the information. And this time it took you 2 days to come around to that. Next time it'll probably take you a day and a half. Then it'll take you a day. Then maybe you'll be like, oh my gosh, it only took me 3 hours to remember that. Like, to notice that those are wins along the way because all of this stuff takes practice. All of the things that I talk about take practice because, again, our mind naturally wants to see the negative, the bad. Once we start on that track, it's easy to see how much we're the victim, how everyone around us is not helping us. Okay. And so just to simply pull yourself back, maybe surrender it to God. Like, okay, Lord, like what are you asking of me? And really, as me, as a beloved daughter or a beloved son, like, what do I need right now? What do I need in order to better serve you and those around me? Right? So that is what I have for you guys today. But I'm praying for you guys. I hope that you are having a blessed day. And always, I will kind of keep everybody updated. I'm gonna do another grief group. I'm pushing it back. I think I'm gonna do it more in August when school's starting, just because our schedules in the calendar. So be on the lookout for that. Um, Otherwise, you can go to griefcoach.com to sign up for one-on-one coaching with me or to be notified of when the next grief group is. So, all right, you guys, I'm praying for you. Have a blessed day.